So, with the 500 Crystal Relic packs coming back to the game a little bit later today, and with the economy changes that have happened over the last week, I have been tagged quite a bit on Discord, on Reddit, multiple servers, and asked basically the same question. Hey, Egnards, now that the relic materials have been devalued a little bit, are you going to change your values in your charts? And is it still worth it for me to buy relic materials? And the answer is a little bit more complicated than that. So we are going to talk about it briefly. As always, if you find this helpful, please subscribe. It does help me out. Otherwise, lay back, close your eyes, enjoy the ASMR, and imagine the two of us somewhere nice, like on a beach in Tahiti with Mai Tais in our hand, enjoying the beautiful summer sun. As I mentioned earlier, the economy changes that have happened in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has been amazing. Right now, we're not going to talk about the Coliseum update. We're not going to talk about the era update in general, just specifically the economy update, which has seen the MK3 to MK2 shift of Zinbiddles and Electrum conductors, and the MK2 to MK1 shift of Erodium heatsinks, chromium transistors, bronzium wiring, and carbonate circuit boards. Just as a reminder, chromium transistors should never be purchased here. You're always going to want to find them with this lovely thing in the guild activity store, MK7 Blast Tech weapon mods. And for these Erodium heatsinks, the conversion rate of the MK3 hollow projectors, I'm not sure if there are any in my store right now. It looks like no. Is still, oh, I have a few here, is still a better rate than buying them with MK1, though it is limited. So there's going to be a case for doing both. As of right now, I am specifically and only purchasing bronzium wiring and carbonate circuit boards. I was pretty low on them before the change. You can see I'm up to over 1,000 of both. The same thing with my Zinbiddles and my Electrum conductors. I have never had this much MK1 Relic 1 to Relic 7 material. It's awesome. But what does that do for the economy, right? How does that change the value of packs for a player or for myself? And the simple answer is that there is a difference between objective value and subjective value. And so, in short, I do not plan on changing the values as they appear in my value charts. So we have my raw data, all of my charts and my spreadsheets are hooked up to this. And you can see that for Relic Salvage, I am still tying all of them to the 500 crystal packs or to the MK3 hollow projector conversion values. I have a sneaking suspicion that in the next couple of months, we will also see droid brains appear in those 500 crystal relic packs, but that's besides the point for the video today. The objective value of these items remains exactly the same, right? When we look at the store value versus the purchase or pack value, we are looking at the same values. We have to remember that there are players at all levels of this game. There are players in the very early game who are maybe not receiving as much MK1 because they're doing old raids. And there are players in the very, very late game who don't need those items as much. So when we talk about how I value things, we are talking about a very, very, very objective, math-based metric. And that allows every player in the game to look at my videos and say, hey, this is how the game values this item at the store rate versus the pack rate. But when we talk about subjective value, we are talking about the value to you personally as a player. So if we were to come over here and we were to head back over to one of the highest value packs in the game, which is the Supreme Relic Duality pack, and it's $150 for buying both. and we see we get about a 155% value increase on this pack. That was insane 6 months ago, right? That was awesome. But when I look at this again now and I say, hey, wait a second, I I don't need carbonate circuit boards, right? And I don't need bronzium wirings, and I don't need chromium transistors or rhodium heat sinks or electrium conductors or zimbital crystals. We start to see that value shrink quite a bit. And I think that I have this actually attached to both sides. So we are going to drop these numbers down. Um, Still need flawed signal data, still need all signal data. I am finding that, yes, I do need impulse detectors now as I bring things to higher levels. And yes, I need everything above that. But when we look at the value to me as a player, I'm only seeing a 25% increase if I buy a single pack. And I'm only seeing a 67% increase if I am buying both packs. For some players, that's still largely going to be a super worth it pack to them. They're going to say, hey, wait a second, I'm a whale, I'm a kraken, I buy everything in this game. I need things super fast. This is still worth it to me. And that's completely fine. Whereas a player like myself who really wasn't buying this pack anyway because I don't have that kind of scratch laying around, is looking at it and saying, hey, there might be better packs for me out there. Something that maybe is focused primarily just on flawed, incomplete, and fragmented signal data. So subjectively, a pack like that is no longer worth it to me. When it comes to the 500 crystal relic packs, I can tell you right now that while I used to buy a lot of them when I was low on certain things, I personally do not foresee myself buying carbonate circuit boards ever again. I don't see myself buying bronzium wiring. I've never bought chromium transistors because the rate is terrible. I don't see myself ever buying rhodium heat sinks, electrium conductors, or zimbital crystals. In fact, right now, the way that I'm relicing up my roster in order to prepare for Relic Delta and what is to come later in the game, I don't even see myself buying arrow magnifiers or impulse detectors because I can position myself in a way that I am mainly focused on lower relic materials while I am working on those things. So while I am not going to be buying 500 crystal relic packs most likely ever again unless they happen to change the rates in the game specifically, I also am not the core demographic for those packs necessarily anymore. I happen to know dozens of people that probably still will make those purchases because they are relicking things at such a high rate, or they're at a different place in the game where they do have a much higher need of those things. So essentially, when we're talking about objective versus subjective value, the objective value tied to the store, tied to the packs, is still exactly the same. But the subjective player to player value shifts considerably. So if you wanted my opinion, I foresee myself saying to the majority of players that instead of purchasing those 500 crystal relic packs, instead focus on the thing that is going to be a little bit more limiting for your roster. And I have a sneaking suspicion that now that we are relicking things a lot more often, that it's probably going to be signal data now more than ever. And we happen to see these signal data catch packs come around quite often, at least once a month, maybe even more than twice a month. And if you are somebody that is not spending a lot of money in the game, you might consider saying, hey, instead of buying these packs, I am actually going to save my crystals for when these signal data catches come around so that I can hopefully earn larger degrees of signal data and hopefully see some of these jackpots, which are going to have the high level signal data. When we look at the EV on this pack overall, the value increase is about 80%. We can take away the chromium transit. Well, actually, I can't do it from here because I have secret math hidden in these areas. But I would estimate that even if we take away erodium heat sinks, electrium conductors, bronzium wire ins and circuit boards, which are honestly a pack that I don't particularly value, and this is maybe one of the worst ones in my opinion. I would say that we are probably still going to be seeing an EV that is somewhere around 60%. And that's really good for a pack that is largely 100% free to play friendly. So the TLDR on this video here is that while I am going to continue valuing my packs the same exact way that I always have, players specifically need to think about their rosters and stop thinking with their monkey brain, the monkey brain that says, hey, new pack, I used to buy this, let me buy it now because I need it, when in reality, you don't need it anymore. Once again, I see signal data crunches going significantly through the roof when lower relic materials are much more obtainable, and it's very important that as a player that is something that you stay on top of. With all of that said, I hope you find this helpful. I hope that later today you don't go in there and you just press buttons and you buy packs that you don't need. And as always, peace out and have a great rest of your day.